Hey, welcome to Tolleson-Mack. Today we're out here at Rancho Rio in Wickenburg. We got Benny with us today, all the way from Texas.
Yeah, I'm here.
Come on out. We're at Three Strand Ministry. It's kind of roping Bible camp. Pretty neat deal. Charly Crawford, Trey Johnson. I'd like to say special thanks to Chris Flippo. He set us up to come out here and just they're helping these kids. They do a lot of Bible study. They do a lot of cool stuff out here.
It's a great thing they're doing.
Yeah, we're gonna see Charly here in a little bit. If you look behind us, he's still out in the arena helping these kids with this school, and we'll get to him in just a little bit.
Trey Johnson coming to you also.
We're about to turn this out. Everybody get loud.
Hey, welcome to Tolleson-Mack. Today we're out here at Rancho Rio, Wickenburg. I'm sure if you're familiar with Arizona, you're familiar with Rancho Rio. These guys to my left, they need no introduction, but I'm going to give them one as well. Trey, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Good.
Thanks for having us on.
Good. And we were lucky enough to have Jackie Crawford's husband. Oh, just kidding.
Right.
Charly.
That's right.
I had to do it. Everybody told me, they said, you're going to interview Charly Crawford? I said, yeah. They said, man, that's so cool. Can you please just say Jackie Crawford's husband?
Get it everywhere I go.
I
It's
imagine,
awesome.
I
I love
imagine.
it.
He owns it though. It's
He
awesome.
owns it. He owns it.
I do some breakaway.
I
I do some breakaway clinics throughout the year, and I was like, "Yep, I am him. He is me."
He is me.
I'm Jackie Crawford's husband.
Yeah.
Just get out of the way.
Just get it out of the way now. Well, man, we were lucky enough to get invited up here. It's a Bible camp, kind of with the roping school mixed in there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about that?
Jump in
Well,
there.
you know, Chris Flippo and his wife Jennifer, they contacted
people.
us a couple years ago, and man, it's just on their heart to add value to people in this area. We started it with 18 and under. I think last year we had 17 kids, and 14 of them accepted the Lord. And this year we had 22 kids, and 18 of them accepted the Lord, along with parents and stuff like that. And you know, their heart is just to change the heart and the mindset of the industry, you know, to add value. We want to create an environment where these kids, they can start to hear the voice of God and know why they're put on this earth, why they have the gifts they have, why they're created the way they're created. So we have several different sessions, you know, where Charly talks, I talk, other people talk, you know, of just sharing our journey, sharing how God's worked in our life, not only our wins, but our mistakes, you know, and the losses that we've had, and how we've got out of those, and how we've gotten to where we are today.
So they're more than just a kind of a roping school with Trey and Charly. They get to get some life experience and hear stories about where you guys been and where they're going. And you know, we're gonna jump around a little bit because we've kind of been walking around. But I just got a chance to listen to you guys as you gave away awards. And I thought the most important thing I heard, of course, there was some really handy kids here.
Yeah.
We were watching them; they were real handy, and me and Bri and, you know, Benny, we're all looking, saying, man, we wish we had that horse. Oh, man, look at that horse. Oh, man, we're going to be roping against this kid in a couple of years, you know. But what I thought was so cool over there when you guys were talking is you touched on the mindset side of it. Yeah. You know, maybe it's not always your rope and your horse. You know, it's your mindset and getting into that winning mindset. And when we interview a lot of guys, a lot of women, you know, and I think the one that stuck out most to me was Larry D. Guy. And she really drove home the fact that it's a lot above your shoulders.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I got from you guys talking over there. Can you talk on that a little bit to some of the people about how important having the winning and right mindset is? And like Charly said over there, sometimes you're going to miss. It's going to happen, you know, but you got to be able to get back up.
That's right.
Yeah, so we really try to develop the technique, the proper way to bring that first swing up, where you're trying to aim your rope, knowing the top and bottom strand. Those techniques need to be established. You got to know how to catch. That's the first foremost thing. Because jackpot, if you don't catch, you don't win nothing. So we got to get that right horn to where you know where the horns are at. Then after that, we got to develop the left hand and the feet. The horsemanship is huge on because that sets up your start. That sets up your position, the handle, the face. Then after that, it goes a lot between the ears, because when you get those things developed, now how are you thinking? I was taught with my dad was the don'ts. There was a lot of don'ts, and it wasn't against anything he said. He was just trying to keep me alive. You know, he's like, Charly, don't stick your finger in the light socket. Charly, don't walk behind the horses. You're gonna get your head kicked off. You know, so everything was don't. So I learned to think that way. Well, then when I'd go back in the box and I was high team back or whatever, and I'm telling myself, don't break the barrier, don't miss, don't do anything stupid, don't look silly. You know, well then, man, the amount of tightness and tenderness that I would have. and then I would look at the guys that win, and you could tell they thought differently.
Right.
And it kind of got to where I started being around them to where those guys were telling themselves what they were going to do. And so I really did start kind of digging into some things and learning how to shape my thought process a little bit on setting what not to do, and started focusing on what to do. Well, then when I started having to focus on what I was going to do, I needed to know the steps of the moving parts of the run. So that way I can tell myself what I'm going to do instead of what not to do. So if I miss, okay, well, how did I miss? Well, my rope hit underneath the right horn. Okay, well, I need my top strand to get over the top of that right horn, then I'm good to go. So I'm telling myself what I'm going to do so I'm able to get myself back in the roping. Because you might miss the first steer, but it might be an intertwist jackpot. So you might miss the first one. You're going to need to get your head in the game on that next one because you got another shot. Or the worst one, you missed to be second high call and you're still high call. So the last one you roped, you missed.
Right.
Now you got to get that demon out of your head. So those are things that happen. So we try to put a lot of situations like that in our clinic. And I try to tell the parents to put that into their practice session. Because we see a lot of kids that just rope. Practice is a little different. We want to practice for the situation, for what's about to happen, and put themselves in situations where they feel like when the buckle's there, or when the girls are watching, or when Jackie Crawford's there, and I got a set of all girls right there. They know they're going to see her because they're going to rope good enough where they're going to see the top girls.
Right.
You got to get almost a little desensitized for that, because if the moment takes you on, it's hard to execute.
Yeah, I noticed that when you guys got to the rope off.
Yeah.
There was a lot of chatter going on. You know, you're backing in the box for 10,000, or are we roping for a truck or a saddle or
Well,
whatever?
I think Johnny, that first day when I would bring it up, she'd miss every single time. Even yesterday, missed quite a few times. Today, she was completely desensitized to everything else.
Was that the girl
You
he
got to learn to avoid the
That
noise.
was Kai.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
Kai.
she was one of the headers.
She's one of the
man.
haters, but you got to learn to avoid the noise, and
Yeah.
so we work on desensitizing them a little bit.
Yeah. Let's talk about Kai a little bit. I don't know Kai from nobody. We were just standing there watching the deal. And I mean, you guys were just putting all the pressure on the world. I mean, first of all, roping in front of you guys.
Yeah.
Second, in front of her peers. And then thirdly, I guess her parents. And I mean, she just was hammering them down.
Well, she's just such a special young lady. You know,
Yeah.
her attitude, she's on the inside and outside, and just as a competitor. You know, one thing we worked on, you know, she was one of my healers of just learning to focus on what she could control and let go of the things she couldn't control. You know, she couldn't control what everybody else was doing, but she would focus on her position, on her swing, and if she didn't make a mistake, her attitude was she's going to go a long ways because she already has that mentality. She's going to put it behind her. She's going to show up, but not only in the arena, you saw her picking up trash.
Yeah,
you saw
in life.
her encouraging all the other little kids. You saw them hugging the small ones and cheering for the others. It's like, man, you want to be around somebody like
Such
that.
a giving spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Benny picked up on that right away. You know, when she left the healing box, Benny said, look at her. She's just watching feet. I mean,
Yeah.
she's taking care of what she can control.
That's
and
right.
I think that was a big thing that you instilled in
One of the great things I think too about this clinic is, you know, that's a great example of that girl. You can tell that there's something inside that girl that's correct. Where when she goes somewhere, that may be the only Jesus anybody ever sees.
Right.
Because you can see it in how she just presents herself, how her attitude is, and you know that girl's got such an opportunity. I think going forward that, you know, I think her future is going to be great, but then also the people she's going to inspire, you know, just on being who she is. It's pretty cool to see.
And you guys can speak to this definitely. I mean, this future of this game going forward. I mean, a girl like that can make a living with a rope.
Yeah.
I mean, they can. I think, you know, like we talk about Bri all the time, and even you guys. I mean, I'm sure you had struggles, you know, making a living with a rope. It wasn't always as easy, and I'm sure she's going to have struggles. But going forward, this game has changed so much. There's more money in it now. There's more places she can go to rope. You know, the Kynes thing, rope for $1 million. You know, I mean, just the American, all these big rodeos. You know, what do you guys see for the future of breakaway? You know, going forward, or the future of this sport going forward, I guess.
Well, I think it'll just continue to increase. You know, with the rope horse fraternities doing what they're doing,
Yeah,
breakaway
those are
and the
great.
team roping,
Yeah.
all the breakaways that they have at the rodeos and stuff, and just the jackpots. The kids are, I mean, it's so natural to them now with all the tools that we didn't have when we were younger. You know, I made my own wooden sawhorse. You know, we didn't have the Smarties, we didn't have the technology. And now, man, they just pick it, they see it, they feel it. I mean, it's just so natural to them. It's part of who they are. And so the industry is just gonna, the future's bright.
Yeah, I mean, we're standing here at Rancho Rio right now, and I think Benny pointed out when he pulled in here, every time we come here, it's bigger.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It seems like if we stay away for 6 months, when you come back, there's another barn, there's another arena. Ty's done something else, and I want to give a big shout out. And
To
I think to
Ty,
Ty
yeah,
Yost.
absolutely.
Didn't he give you guys the arena and the steers and everything? And
He's been so generous the last 2 years, just opening up. I mean, there was one day last year he even didn't have a roping just so we could have the clinic.
Yeah.
And he's just whatever you guys need.
Yeah.
And his heart is to add value to people and the industry, and we've all benefited.
yeah, he's a great guy. We do some beef processing for Ty from time to time, and he's always been good to work with, easy, super businessman, straight to the point. It is what it is, and we move on. And Chris and Jennifer helped you with this, right?
Yeah, this is their vision. We're
This is
just
theirs.
coming along and supporting them, and
Yeah.
And-
Chris, he's a neighbor of ours there in
Okay.
Buckeye, so that's how I know him. But yeah, they're good people.
Yeah.
They provide a lot of rope and steers to a lot of people and things like that. You guys, where are you headed from here?
We had home. I had home.
Yeah.
I came from Michigan. This is my 5th day in a row on clinics. I came from Michigan to here, and so I get home for a couple days, and then
Drink some hot tea.
try to get the throat
Yeah.
kind of loosened up again a little bit. Then I'll be headed from here to Kentucky.
Okay.
yeah, I head home tonight, and then I'll be at the BFI Friday and Saturday, and
Okay.
then I preach there Sunday morning,
cool.
and then I preach at a church in Oklahoma City Sunday, and then I fly to Colorado Monday, and I think I speak 32 different times the next couple of weeks. And so
Okay.
just got back from Africa a couple weeks ago, and we've got plenty going.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Well, we ain't gonna hold you guys up too much longer, but man, we sure like talking to you, and I just enjoyed sitting there watching. We were sitting there by the heading box, and we could catch you both. You know how they set it up was Charlie was out in the arena, Trey was in the healing box, and you guys were talking back and forth. And boy, them kids, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. I like
Great
it.
kids.
It was fun.
Charlie screaming, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, the parents though
Yeah.
that are so willing and have done such a good job with these kids. I mean, the yes sirs, the no sirs,
Yes.
the looking you in the eye, shaking your
That
hand.
means a lot.
I did notice that.
Our
when you
industry-
talked to them,
They were right there.
Yeah.
And if they did veer off, hey, eyes right here, boy, they were dialed back
Locked
in.
in.
It's just real hard if there was a steer involved. Then it's really hard to get their
Yeah.
focus. Because he actually made the comment before. He's like, "All right, we're gonna rope some steers," and then he still had things to say, and
Yeah.
they're already gone. Like,
They're already gone.
You got to say rope steers later.
I gotta know my audience better.
I gotta stay upstairs at the very end.
You
Yeah.
know, you did something today that a lot of people don't do. I hear it myself. Breathe.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So when you're running down the arena, people, breathe.
Breathe.
Don't hold your breath. You breathe.
You know what? And I think that just comes from repetition, right? I mean, you guys get used to what you're doing. It's second nature to you. If we left here and we went and got on a hay baler, I mean, I could do it while talking on my phone and
Sure.
changing my kid's diaper going down the thing. And you guys would be like this.
Right.
Same thing with you, right? When you're going down the arena, you're breathing. It's just a day off. You're roping feet or whatever you're doing. So I think all that stuff is so important that you're teaching to these kids. I really do.
It's an honor to be a part of their journey. Of course, to do clinics with Charlie, it's so fun, and
Cool.
we learn from each other all the time and challenge each other. And
Yeah, I imagine there's a little of that goes on.
There is, yeah,
You
I
guys
think so.
still got to be competitive.
well, yeah.
Heck yeah.
It's special for me in the fact that I get to do it with Trey because, how I got to be successful. It wasn't a straight line for sure. There's a lot of stones unturned that shouldn't have been turned, and there's a lot of things that I went through to get to where I was at, and a lot of understanding what a false god was and a false idol. And for me, that was roping, that was rodeo. My life was happy or miserable whether or not I won, and those were not the relationships that was affecting my relationships. It was affecting so many things, and to be able to now, after being able to be around Trey, after having a relationship now with Jesus, now being able to come back now after making the NFR 10 times and understanding what God gave me the ability to do, but then now to come back with these young kids and then now see how he can use me to be able to not only help them with their roping, but then to try to be able to avoid the mistakes that I had made in the past. And, for me, it was like, who's the devil? Who's Jesus? Because there's a line. I didn't know. When I was a young kid in their age, they all wore the same jerseys. I didn't know who the devil or God was. They all ran together. And until I started getting in the Word and understanding, okay, that's not God. God doesn't want that for me. This is how God actually thinks of me. Okay, that was the devil tricking me into certain things. And so be able to give them a little bit of an understanding of whose side is on who, to where, because everyone's got those wolves inside of us, right? The good wolf and the bad wolf. And so for them to understand is the only one that's going to survive is the one you feed. So
That's true. And I think the way you guys do it out there, but like you said, they really paid good attention to you. So they were hanging on every word. I mean, you guys were saying it, they were soaking it up, you know. And it's as long as you say steers at the end, I think
I'm learning.
you got a lot of it in the front. So we know you guys got a plane to catch, and we'll let you get out of here. But we sure liked talking to you, and really enjoyed watching.
For the followers and the listeners that's watching, if they ever want to get lessons or put a clinic on or something like this, how would they get in touch with y'all? Would y'all mind sharing?
So I've got a website, charlycrawford.training, and that's got my clinic schedule on there. Got some online courses. Basically, you're to pull a rope off the rack for the first time, how to use the rope, how to rope the horns, how to use the dummies to the best of their abilities. I'm going to come out with another one this summer on horsemanship. And so those are good ways. I got a host page where someone's wanting us to come to them. They can reach out to me through that. I've got an email, charlycrawfordtraining@gmail. So that way you can email me, and if you want me to come your way, or if you're just looking for a clinic, it'll be on my website on the clinic tab.
Benny, thank you for that, because I'm the same deal. You can go to TreyJohnsonMinistries.com, and there's where all the clinics are going to be, and then that's where our TV show is, our podcast, all the daily devotionals, everything that we're doing. You know, if they want to grow themselves, not only in the arena but outside, there's a lot of tools there. So we'd love to have them be a part, and we'd love to be a part of what they're doing. They're listening.
Folks, I've been around Trey for a long time. It's been a while.
It's been a long time. I think I might even had hair, Benny.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
And he's a great guy, y'all. These are two stand-up gentlemen. So
when you guys got done talking over here, you told all those kids. I thought this was funny. You said, "Hey, if you have a run or two, you know, and you guys want us to look at it, go ahead, but don't send me 10.
Yeah.
That's gonna take too long, you know." But and I thought that was cool. You know, I mean, these little kids are gonna go home and they're gonna think, you know, Trey and Charlie, those are my friends.
Yeah.
Like I can just, sit. You know, I'll send a video to Benny and say, "What do you think?" He'll tell me, "Well, you didn't have enough bottom strand or this or that."
Yeah.
You know, same thing with these kids. They're gonna go home and say, "Man,"
And they'll send them too.
Oh,
They'll send them.
They might send 10 though. You guys,
But I'll message them back. Remember, only two.
only two. Two's the limit. Yeah. So
Well,
all
I
right.
think also too what helps so much is when Trey's also being able to be, you're able to get a hold of them. So when things are going wrong out of the arena, you know, not only do we battle with things, you know, the misses in the short run, your high team back to when your first saddle, those are we get it. But then there's also things in life, you know. There's, you know, we got to be careful.
These kids are faced with a lot of stuff. I got a 16-year-old daughter, and I mean, I just this year got on the school board, and I sit there and I get those reports of things these kids are doing in school, and I'm half tempted to pull my own kid out of the school that I'm on the school board of, because I see all the stuff that goes on there. Man, they are up against it.
They are.
You know, it really
It's a lot of
it's nice having guys like you that keep the word and just help with that. You know. So
thank you. We're honored to be a part of the journey.
all right.
Thank y'all for letting us
Thank
be
you.
on here.
We'll let you get
Appreciate
out of
it.
here.
Bless you.
Trey,
Yes,
thank
sir. You bet, man.